Hey, how's everyone going? Good evening. This is John, your coach, and so I wanted to spend today to answer some questions that I was getting, not only today but throughout the week. I think a lot of you are going to be officially really starting the program this week because some of you got some of your packages late. And sort of just ease yourself into the workouts and into the eating and understanding it. Hopefully, you've seen a lot of good videos that I've posted, but I also wanted to spend the time to answer some questions to close out the week before you guys start. So, one of the first questions that was asked by Kristen was, where do you go to eat? What are choices you do when you're out and about and you need to eat? So I'm going to answer my top choices. Most of you should be able to go to any of these places. I think they're in most people's cities of all my challengers. Number one is Chipotle. I love Chipotle. I probably will eat out there 2 times a week for lunch because I've got meetings around the Metroplex. Reason why I like Chipotle, and that's my number one choice, everything is scoops into the bowl, so it's almost like doing 21 Day Fix. So, but this is what I order. So you can go crazy at Chipotle and really derail yourself, but this is what I do. So what I do is I skip the rice. I don't get rice. I get a very small scoop of pinto beans. I get the fajita vegetables. Depending on how many red containers I need to do, I'll do 1 or 2 scoops of the chicken, or like I'll do a scoop of the chicken with a mix of the sofrito, which is like the tofu, which is really good. And then on the condiments, I just get the pico, the lettuce, 1 very light smattering of cheese, and if you want, you could get some avocado if you really want to bust out your blue containers. So that's basically what I get. So on the 21 Day Fix, they say you can have tortillas, but when you're new to 21 Day Fix, I really don't recommend doing it. And here's my philosophy, and this sort of leads into one of the other questions is, what are some of your best recommendations when eating on the 21 Day Fix? So you have a list of foods that you could eat that are on the list. So you'll see that there are potatoes are allowed, tortillas are allowed, and some of the other carb-rich foods are allowed. But for the first 21 days, I really don't recommend having any of those types of foods. And the reason being is that's a trigger for most people. And so all you're doing is making it harder for yourself during the week, and you're just not going to have as good of results. Because I call those sort of the heavier carbs. So I'm not saying don't eat them, but in the first 21 days, I'd really recommend against doing it at all. But if you do, don't eat it at night, period. That's just a no-no. If you are going to do it, if you are going to have that type of yellow, do it during lunch. And I wouldn't have any of them past 3 o'clock. So that's sort of what I recommend. So anything that's like a real trigger for you, try to sort of avoid it the first 21 days. After you've successfully gone through the 21 days and you see the results, then you sort of ease some of your more favorite and just do it in moderation. And if you do it that way and you just, focus a lot on the good clean vegetables, the fruits, the good lean proteins and everything, you're going to have amazing results in 21 days. My first 21 days, I did 26 pounds. My friend Doug did 25 pounds, and he's in our group right now, and he's on his 4th or 5th round right now. So it works if you follow the system. So some of the other places that I like to go and eat out. So I talked about Chipotle already. So the other ones that I like, so Panera Bread, Panda Express, Chick-fil-A, Genghis Grill. So those are 4 other ones that I use. And once again, you think some of these are crazy that I'm rattling off to you, but this is what I get when I'm there. Panda Express, you could get the steamed vegetables instead of the rice. And then I get the grilled teriyaki chicken without the sauce. So I don't get all the sodium, I get the protein, and I get the vegetables. And it's like $7. And you get a lot of meat, so it's actually a really good deal there. Chick-fil-A, I get the grilled chicken salad with the Asian vinaigrette. So that's usually a good lunch that I do there. At Genghis Grill, you can get tons of veggies and tons of protein into your mix and some of your blues and stuff like that. And then instead of the rice or noodles, I use the cabbage. So and that works really good. And so any of those like wok places, most of them have those options. So the one by me is Genghis Grill. I think most people have Genghis Grills, but those are other ones. And then the last one I talked about was, Panera Bread. So Panera Bread, I usually will get the Mediterranean quinoa and kale salad, chicken salad. It's super good. I get the half order, and it's like, for the counts, it's like 2 green, half yellow, 1 blue, 1 orange, half yellow. So it's really good. And that's another good one out there. So that's sort of my rotation of eating out places. And then when I eat out at restaurants, so this is the rule of thumb. Any restaurant, you could get steamed veggies, and you could get grilled chicken. Almost any place out there will get you that, even at a sushi restaurant. So, those are the things you want to look at when you're eating, especially at night. I don't go after the hard carbs at night, so I try to get all my yellows out, well before 4 o'clock. So you very rarely will see me eat a yellow after 4 o'clock. And if I did, it's because I worked my ass off and I could suck that yellow up, but for the most part I don't. So that's the thing. So sort of the strategy also is sort of get your yellows earlier, try to get your greens later, spread out through the day and also later, and that's sort of the strategy I do. One of the other questions I had was about my philosophy on food prep. So mine is a little different. So I'm single. I don't have any kids. I just have Hunter, who's right back here, laying around like a bum. But and I work out of my house, so it's a little bit easier for me. But these are sort of the things I've done that have made me pretty successful doing it. So on Sundays, what I try to focus on is cutting as much of the veg that I'm going to be using. So for salads and cooking, a lot of the critical pieces of my meals, and portion them out for the week. And what I do when I cut the veg, I use the Ziploc twist and lock containers. I don't have one here. I should have probably brought one so I could show you what it looks like. But I found they keep the vegetables pretty fresh the whole week. So you don't got to worry about them spoiling or anything. So I do that. I also will use frozen fruit, and I portion them out, and basically I use the purple container as a scooper, and I portion them into little containers, and I just have them stacked up in my fridge. And when I want to use them with my oatmeal or something else, or I just want to eat them, they're going to taste really good. And actually, a lot of the frozen fruits are better because they're flash frozen right as they're picked off the vine, so they're actually a lot healthier as long as you've got a good quality frozen fruit. So I do that. Some of the staple meals, like some of the proteins, I will cook. So I'll do like crock pot salsa chicken or something, and that'll give me enough for like 6-7 meals. But a lot of times I cut up a lot of the pieces, and when I'm ready to cook, I just throw it in the pan and cook it. And usually one of the things you do is I just put it in the pan and I cook it, and most of the times it takes me no more than 5 to 10 minutes to do it. So it makes it pretty easy. And that's sort of my philosophy. I've posted containers. Mason jars are good storage containers. Some of the 2-compartment things are good. So do what you feel comfortable with. And please ask me. I mean, I've cooked so many different things. I'll post recipes that I do, and you can see them. But there's a lot of variety, and whenever you need inspiration, go to Pinterest. Just put in 21-day fix recipes and look at them. One word of caution though on Pinterest, when you're looking at the recipes, really make sure that I've seen some of the recipes where some of them, they sort of play it fast and loose with the 21-day fix on some of the ingredients, and they also go back to some of those trigger ingredients that I talked about. So, just try to avoid it. Do what makes sense. Question it. I mean, you'll figure it out after a couple of days. You'll really recognize the containers and what to do. So the other thing that came up was about the workouts. Some people, are just now starting to work out, and they're wanting to know, how do I get through the workouts? Some of them have tried them. And so this is the thing I recommend. Go at your own pace, but don't stop. So if most of them, she does 2 sets of 2 exercises, and she usually does 4 rounds in most of them. So when you do it at your own pace, but try to move the whole time. And you'll always see Kat on the, she's always on my right hand side. So you'll see Kat and just watch the modifications and follow them, and go at your own speed. Listen to your body. But also, also ascertain, is this real pain or am I just a little uncomfortable? If you're a little uncomfortable, just keep rocking it out. And trust me, after a couple of weeks, you're going to get better and better, and you're going to feel so good as you get better. Like today, I did I hadn't really done any of the 21-day fix workouts outside of yoga for a couple of months because I was doing T25 and I did Dirty 30. And I made Dirty 30 my bitch today. So, and before, when I first did it, I was crying, when I had to do it. I mean, some of it was pretty hard, and I just did the modifications, but I got better every week, and, it just gets easier. So that's the other thing. She's going to talk about breathing all the time, and please breathe. So, here's a couple of tips. So when you lift something, or you're bringing your body up, breathe out, and it will get better. So let me give you an example of what that sort of looks like. So for example, probably can't see this. So for example, just like in the warm-ups, she'll do something like where she goes down to the opposite leg in the warm-ups. So what you want to do is you want to breathe out when you're going down, and it's going to allow you to stretch your body, and you're going to get more flexible. So when I do it, I just breathe. And then you just do that, and just over-exaggerate your breath, and it's going to get a lot better. And so like when you lift anything like... in the Dirty 30 today, she did the upright row. So when I'm lifting up, I'm breathing. So I'm going, and when I'm dropping it down, I'm actually just letting the gravity take it. Just have enough control, like I don't drop it, but just let it go down with gravity naturally. And that way you'll save a lot of energy. So, just don't try to fight it too much or try to control it on the way down. So I'll go... and you get the arms up, and then when I go down, I'm just releasing, and then I'm just going down in a controlled manner. And you're gonna, if you just practice that and you sort of over exaggerate the breathing, it'll get a lot easier. But yeah, so the workouts, I mean, some of them can get challenging, but I mean, when I did them, I was like out of shape, more out of shape than any of you guys that are just starting it now. So just trust the process, do it every day, press play, do it at your own speed, and you're going to do a lot better. I'm sort of all over the map, and this is 15 minutes, but these are a lot of important things I wanted to make sure to say. Next week when I do this, it'll be a lot quicker, but I wanted to make sure, since a lot of you guys are new and doing this program, that you understand a lot of these concepts and that they make sense. Once again, please text me, message me. Even if I'm at meetings, a lot of times I'll get back to you within reason. So texting is definitely the best way to get a hold of me. If it's later at night, of course, call me. Anytime after 6, I'm usually home, so you can call me. But anyway, have a great weekend, and I hope you guys love this journey. Oh, another thing. You got I still have like 1 or 2 of you that have not sent me your measurements, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have the measurements on a Google document, your own personal Google document that only you have me and you have access to, and that's where you update your stats. So the first stats we're doing is next Saturday, so be prepared to give me an update next Saturday after you go through a week. Anyway, have a great night, and I hope you guys enjoy. Bye.